It all started the moment I stepped onto this old, rusty train. The sign above the entrance just said one word: Deadrails. Barely hanging by a bolt, swinging in the cold wind like it was warning me to turn back. But I didn't listen. I had to know what was at the end of the line. I took my first few steps into the passenger car, and it already felt wrong. The lights were flickering like something out of a horror movie. Every window was fogged up, and there were scratch marks on the floor, as if something had been dragged. Or maybe, someone. I started walking slowly, crowbar in hand. I always keep one in Deadrails. First thing I learned: if you don't bring a weapon, you don't come back. As I passed into the second car, I heard it. A faint metal creak above me. I looked up. Vents? Always check the vents. Something scurried across, too fast for me to see, but I knew what it was. I'd heard stories of the crawler, a zombie that moves on the ceiling and drops when you least expect it. So I moved faster. Room after room, seat after seat, empty. Just bags left behind, torn clothes, blood smeared on the windows. No survivors. And then, I saw her. A passenger. Sitting still, head down. Blonde hair, hands folded. She looked alive. I approached slowly, whispering, "Hey, you okay?" No answer. I tapped her shoulder. She turned. Her face was gone. Like something had hollowed her out. Like a shell of skin was all that remained. I jumped back and swung my crowbar out of panic, and when I did, she just slumped forward. Dead again. Or, whatever that was. That's when the alarm went off. A mechanical voice echoed through the train. Containment failure. Biohazard released. Do not exit train. Yeah, right. Like I'm staying after that. I kept going. There was this weird green gas starting to leak from the vents. I held my breath, rushed past the next few cars, and that's when I saw the first real zombie. Not those weird shells. This one was full-on mutated. Its arms were long like a gorilla's, dragging on the floor, with no eyes. Just a mouth full of teeth that never closed. It saw me, or smelled me, maybe. It roared and charged. I barely dodged in time. I hit it once with the crowbar. Twice. It grabbed me by the leg. Slammed me down. I thought I was dead. But somehow, I kicked it off and bashed its head in. Panting, bleeding, but alive, I limped into the dining car. This is where things got even weirder. The whole car was lit by candles. Tables were still set. Rotten food on plates, as if people had just left mid-meal. There were voices. Not real ones. Like whispers echoing in my head. You shouldn't be here. The train is watching. Turn back before the engine wakes. What engine? I kept moving forward. I found a note, carved into the table with a fork. It read, "The conductor is no longer human." Suddenly, the floor shook. Like something big was crawling along the roof. I looked up. Dust falling. Screws popping loose. Something was following me, outside the train, on top. I broke into a run. Through the sleeper car, through the luggage storage. I found a shotgun, half loaded, next to someone who didn't make it. Grabbed it. Checked every corner. Heard breathing in the walls. Scratching under the floor. Then, silence. That's when I reached the observation car. Glass all around. You could see the outside, but it was all just fog. The train wasn't moving through any forest, desert, or tunnel. We were riding through nothing. Like a void. Just mist. And out there, something was running beside the train. Pale. Massive. Tentacles for arms. No eyes. Just tracking us. It wasn't attacking. Just watching. The train made a sharp turn. I was thrown against the glass. My head spun. When I looked again, it was gone. But now the lights inside started going out. One by one, car by car. From the back, something was coming. I started sprinting again. This time, I was close to the front. Only 2 more cars left before the engine. Suddenly, the power went out entirely. I had to switch to a flashlight. The moment I turned it on, there it was, inches from my face. A child. But not a real one. Pale blue skin. Hollow black eyes. Hair floating like it was underwater. It reached for me and whispered, "Don't let him wake up." Then it vanished. I reached the last door. the engine room. I kicked it open, and saw the conductor. He was part of the train now. His body stretched into wires, tubes pumping black fluid. His mouth stitched shut, his eyes replaced by spinning gears. He didn't move. He just stared. Then a voice echoed from every speaker in the train. "You have reached the end of the line." Suddenly, every door behind me slammed shut. The windows turned black. The floor started to glow red hot. I looked at the control panel. There was a button. One single button labeled exit. I hit it. A flash. A roar. Then, silence. When I opened my eyes, I was outside. Alone. No train in sight. Just tracks leading into fog. And in my hand was a train ticket. Burned around the edges. It read, Deadrails passenger number 107. Survived. But the last thing that chilled me to my bones, the back of the ticket said, next departure, midnight. We'll be waiting. And that, my friends, is the story of how I barely escaped Deadrails. But I know it's not over. I know, it's coming back. And next time, I don't think I'll survive.